Good day. My name is Michael Malondo, and I'm going to present on health education for degree first year. And the purpose of this presentation is we're going to look at the assignment that you are expected to present and to submit. So this presentation will just serve as a guide for you that can help you actually to then prepare yourself for you to submit your assignment as much as possible. So this subject is going to have 4 assignments, and you are then expected to submit all 4 assignments. I'm going to explain each assignment, and as we go throughout the assignment, I'm going to then guide you so that you can know exactly what is expected from you. The first assignment that we're going to look at is we're going to identify and we're going to look at the different lifestyle diseases. The first thing what is expected from you have to explain and define what is a lifestyle disease. And then if you are going to explain and define it, you have to give details, give examples of what lifestyle diseases is. Then you're also going to explain number 2 is how do people get these lifestyle diseases. And if you're going to explain, then you're also number 3 going to explain why do people get these lifestyle diseases. And as we go throughout the presentation, I'm going to explain in detail exactly what these lifestyle diseases are and how it is very important to know that most of these lifestyle diseases are the leading cause of death in Namibia. And so it's very important that in your assignment you have to follow where you look at what are the lifestyle diseases, how people get these lifestyle diseases, and why do people get this, and how and why do they get these lifestyle diseases. The second assignment, or assignment number 2, is going to look at nutrition and food, and why nutrition and food is very important for people living with HIV/AIDS. And in the light of the Harambee Prosperity Plan of Namibia, you're also going to discuss food security, you're going to discuss nutrition, you're going to discuss the issue of poverty, and how it is very important. And you can also then make reference to the National Strategic Framework Goal, which is the NSF, that address food security for people living with HIV/AIDS. The third assignment is you're going to discuss and look at the risky behavior of adolescents or young people or the youth in Namibia. What are these risky behaviors? How are they engaging in these risky behaviors? And why are these behaviors very risky that can make young people vulnerable to HIV/AIDS? And in your submission of your assignment, you have to elaborate in detail. You have to explain, give examples, and use your own example, use others' example. So for every behavior that you are going to mention, you have to explain is what the behavior is, what negative impact does it have, and how young people engage in this behavior, and how does those behavior make them vulnerable when it comes to HIV infection. Then the fourth assignment, we are going to look, or it is expected to you, to discuss the whole fundamental of health. What is health? Why is health so important? And you are going to give an explanation, and to understand the whole fundamentals or the principles of health, you have to discuss the Sustainable Development Goals, which is from 2015 to 2030, and the SDGs, as they call it, has replaced the Millennium Development Goals, which is looking beyond 2015. Now, when you make a reference to the Sustainable Development Goals, you're going to look at goal number 3, which looks specifically on health, and you're going to extract from the SDG, and you are going, as you're going to extract the information from the SDG, then you're going to explain in detail. You're going to discuss the different aspects of health, different principles of health, why it is important. You can also make a reference to Vision 2030. You can make a reference to the National Strategic Framework, as long as you can explain why health is very important for an individual, for a community, and for a nation such as Namibia. So we're going to go now into details where we're going to explain the assignment. Now we're first going to look at assignment number 1. Now I hope that you will be able to look at that picture or that cartoon which I've put there. Now you will see this man lazing, sleeping on a couch, very lazy. And secondly, you will see that he's relaxing in front of the TV. And then thirdly is you will notice that while he's sleeping, maybe the whole day watching TV, being lazy, he's actually eating something, and which we all call junk food. He's eating chips, which is having a lot of toxins. Also looking at the cool drink he's drinking, which is very negative. Also looking at other junk food. So at the end of the day, you will find this man, and which actually reflect most of our lifestyle. You know, we love to eat junk food because it's cheaper and it's easier and accessible. And then we love just to sleep the whole day in front of the TV. Now my question is, when do we have time just to walk around exercising? And you can even see the tummy that man is having on the cartoon. So which tells me that he does not have a healthy lifestyle himself, or he does not exercise. So, and this is how most of the lifestyle diseases actually are caused, is because of how we live. That's why they call it lifestyle diseases. It's how we live on a daily basis. It's what we eat, how we eat. How do we conduct ourselves? We are not health conscious, and it's very important that your lifestyle can actually be an asset, or it can be fatal to you. So it's very important to know that when you have a healthy lifestyle, and of course then you will always be healthy. But if you don't have a healthy lifestyle, then of course you will bear the consequences of diseases in your body. So in your assignment, you have to explain, give a definition, what are the lifestyle diseases, why or how can people get lifestyle diseases, and why do people get these lifestyle diseases. So it's very important. Give practical examples, make references to other sources. Very important, because in your assignment you have to bring out this information, which is much needed from you. Then, of course, then you are going to talk about the consequences of these diseases. So, because of your poor and bad lifestyle, you might have these kind of diseases. And when we talk about lifestyle diseases, I have given you a list of different lifestyle diseases. Some of these diseases might look very familiar to you, but it's very important for you to know that when you look at these diseases, that most of these people that are having these diseases is because of their lifestyle. Of course, as I make reference to the cartoons I've shown you, your heart is being affected. You've got high cholesterol. Because of the junk food you're eating, you create diabetes or sugar sickness. Your sugar level is very high. At the end, you might get cancer. Because of your poor heart condition and high cholesterol, you might suffer a heart attack, you can get a stroke. Also other diseases, migraine, headache, sleeping disorder, the list goes on. At the end, your kidneys can be affected. There are so many reasons, and in your assignment that you have to explain and give us reasons what these diseases are. And then, of course, as I say, the causes of these diseases are very important. How are these diseases caused? What are the root causes of these diseases? And so you have to explain this. because many times when you prepare an assignment, it will be very helpful if you can also talk to somebody that's suffering part of these diseases and ask him, where did it all start? What was your lifestyle before you identified or discovered that you have these diseases within your body? And as I say, lifestyle diseases are manageable. In your assignment, you can also give the solutions of this. How can you manage this lifestyle disease? How can you address this lifestyle diseases? What you can do to make sure that these lifestyle diseases are being prevented, and how you can prevent these lifestyle diseases. So it's very important that in your assignment you have to discuss this as much as possible. Now, assignment 2 is very important, and I would also ask you that you have to make reference to the Harambee Prosperity Plan, which you can also find free on the internet. You can download it. And the reason why I make reference to this plan or to this document is because in your assignment you have to discuss the whole aspect of nutrition and HIV. Now, for you to have a healthy lifestyle, even to make sure that you don't get opportunistic diseases, is you have to make sure that you eat correct and you eat healthy. Now, what do you do if you are poor? And then in your assignment you have to discuss how does poverty have a negative impact on your nutrition, and how does poor nutrition have an impact on your HIV status, or especially for people that are living with a disease, with HIV. So bring issue in the Harambee plan. You can look through that. It's having the different pillars. You look at the pillars of health, and it will then also discuss in detail. Now, talking about the Harambee plan, I just want to highlight a quote that was given by the Deputy Minister of Namibia, of Ministry of Health and Social Services, during the launch of the National AIDS Conference last year. And I took this extract from the New Era newspaper, and I also make reference to the date. She said something very interesting with regard to the Harambee plan and HIV. Now, I want to read what she's saying, the Deputy Minister. She said, ending HIV is within our reach, provided we work together in the true spirit of Harambee. And Harambee means that nobody must be left out. And this is the plan of Namibia for the next 5 years, that every person, every Namibian will be involved, especially when it comes to HIV/AIDS. And then she says further, I therefore call on Namibians, the Namibian public and private sector to join our effort to deliver the final blow on HIV once and for all. And you can only do that through Harambee. And then she further goes on, she said, we need to build multifaceted and multidimensional approaches to deliver concrete evidence-based intervention, which can reclaim our society from the jaws of a resource-depleting disease, which is HIV/AIDS. And I think these are very good, wise words. And in your assignment, I will encourage you that you can use different sources, looking at also the presentation of the president when it comes to Harambee. So you can look at different sources and bring in what role does Harambee play when it comes to nutrition and HIV/AIDS, and which is very, very important, especially for people living with HIV/AIDS. So we are going to go now to assignment number 3, where we are going to look at the risky behaviors of adolescents and even what we can call the young people. Now, we know that when we talk about young or the youth in Namibia, we talk about the age of 15 up to 30. But we also know that young people as young as 12, 11 are already sexual active, and now In this presentation, we're going to look at the youth and 15 up to 30 years, 35 years. And then we're also going to look at what are they doing. There are certain behaviors that actually contribute them for them to become very vulnerable when it comes to HIV infection. So there is a list of behaviors. As I say, this is just a guideline. It's not the final answer. You have to go, and in your assignment, you can come up with other risky behaviors that young people are engaging, specifically in Namibia. You can also take other case studies of other countries, looking at young people like South Africa, Botswana, Zambia, looking at their adolescents and their young people, and what factors actually contribute when it comes to their risky behavior. Now, I'm going to give you a list, and this is just a guide of behaviors that young people are engaging, which make them susceptible and also vulnerable for HIV infection. And the first one is the whole issue of multiple and concurrent partnership. Many young people are having more than one partners or sexual partners, and because of this makes them very vulnerable when it comes to infection. So when you're in a relationship where you have got 3 sexual partners and you are having unprotected sex, the chances for you to get HIV are very high. And this is what we call why Namibia has the slogan of what we call breaking the chain. Because the moment you are in a multiple or having more than 2 or 3 partners, you are involved in a network of sexual partners. And you create the chain that you will not know which one of the chain is actually the one that's HIV positive. So it might just be that from this multiple partners that you're having, that one of them might be HIV positive, and it might just happen that you can get infected. So this is what happened, and many young people, they want to engage in this activities because of experimenting, discovering their sexuality, curiosity. There are so many reasons. The other reason why young people are also in a risky behavior when it comes to HIV infection is the intergenerational sex, where adolescents are having sexual partners that are much older than them. We call them the sugar daddies, the sugar mummies. So those are some of the aspects that can also help, actually, that also make young people very vulnerable when it comes to HIV infection. And this is a behavior. The other thing is alcohol abuse. Namibia has one of the most highest abuse of alcohol. Many of our young people are already involved in alcoholic activities, and we know by experience that somebody that's that's using alcohol, he or her chance to control or to become responsible are actually very slim, because the moment you are drunk, or for you to control yourself or your behavior, it's very slim, and you might find yourself that you engage in a very risky behavior because of the alcohol, and it makes it very important, and not just in Namibia, but in most countries where our young people are actually exposed to alcohol, and by friends, families, and also by peer pressure. The other behavior which I also bring in is where you have more older young people who are they don't believe in marriage, they don't cohabitate or long-term relationship, and the reason why they don't get married or they don't cohabitate in one relation, or they are not in one committed relationship, is because of their number of sexual partners. So there is quite a decline of many young people that commit themselves in a committed relationship, and finding themselves with different partners, and that makes them very vulnerable. Transactional sex, which means that we call it sex for money. Many young people want to have the latest fashion, they want to have status, they want money, they want material things, and the shortcut is get someone that can give you money, and for money you exchange sex. And that's what young people are doing. They engage themselves. So those are some of the things that in your assignment you have to bring out. You have to explain and give some details why young people are engaging in these behaviors. And then of course, as the population that's moving, that's mobility of the population. The population is very mobile. You've got seasonal workers, contract workers, you've got truck drivers. The list goes on. So in your assignment, we will expect you to bring up all this list of behaviors, and you must not just give a list. For every behavior that you list, you have to explain, you have to give example, you have to give detailed information, because this might affect the outcome of your assignment. So as I say, this is just a guideline for you. You can have more than this. As I say, you can compare the risky behaviors of other countries, and you can look it in the light of Namibia, and the list goes on. So, and then it's very important that you have to look into that. Now, coming to the fourth assignment, as I say, we are looking at health itself, why health is very important. And for this assignment, I will use the Sustainable Development Goals, and I will spend more time on the SDGs. And this is just a guide. You can use it. You can use the National Strategic Framework also, but this is the basis that you have to follow when you're going to do submit this assignment. Now, the Sustainable Development Goals is having 17 goals, and the goals start from 2015 up to 2030, and it's, as you can note, 2030 it's in line with our Vision 2030. So you can also make mention to the Vision 2030 of Namibia. Now, we are going to focus at the SDG number 3, and now I have extracted this information from World Health Organization, and you can also visit their website. They've got a very good information and resources when it comes to health, the fundamentals of health, and why health is very important for us as a human being and also as a nation. Now, the Sustainable Goal says that to ensure a healthy life and to promote well-being for all ages is very important, not just for Namibia, for all the countries. And then they give sub goals or sub objectives or strategies, whatever you can name it, where they say what every country has to achieve to make sure that we will achieve a healthy lifestyle and a healthy well-being for all people of all ages. The first thing is the aspect of global maternity mortality, where it needs to be reduced. Many people, women that are giving birth and then they die by giving birth. Then also looking at the death of newborn children. And then they also give statistics there. By 2030 is the epidemic of AIDS, TB, malaria, and how it's very important to combat all these diseases. The other is to look at non-communicable diseases, how to prevent it, the importance of that, mental health, the well-being, holistic approach. So these are all part of the strategies that the SDG is having to address healthy lifestyle and well-being for all people of all ages. And then, of course, is looking at prevention. Prevention is better than cure, like everyone says. So, but SDG is looking at prevention, but not just prevention. It goes beyond prevention, where it looks at treatment. And treatment is substance abuse, and this is one of the things that many young people are engaging when it comes to risky behaviors, when it comes to drug abuse, harmful use of alcohol, and the list goes on. So it also said SDGs by 2030 is they want to make sure that they reduce the number of deaths because of injuries, road traffics, road accidents. They're also looking at issues of the accessibility of sexual and reproductive health care for both family and young people. And one of the challenges that Namibia and most any other country are having when it comes to sexual and reproductive health is adolescent-friendly or youth-friendly services when it comes to sexual and reproductive health and rights. So this is what the SDG is looking at. They are also looking at issues of financial health, looking at healthcare services, affordable services, medicine, and so on. And then, of course, lastly, they are looking also at other chemicals, issues of water, soil pollution, air pollution. So these are one of the things that they are looking at, which is very important, especially when it comes to the SDH. So in your assignment, when you are going to prepare, you are going to use the SDG as a basis, where you're going to look at what is health. What are the number two? What are the fundamentals of health? Number three, what makes health very important? Then you're going to discuss the SDGs. What does the Sustainable Development Goals say about health? And then you can look specifically at the issue of AIDS and HIV based on the SDG goal number 3. What do they say about that? You can make reference to Vision 2030. You can make a reference to the NSF, the National Strategic Framework. So when you are going to discuss this, it's very important that you have to look into these things. Now, I have look at this now. The World Health Organization, I say, they discuss this in detail, the importance of health and why health is very important. Now you will see that I have a circle. It's not so clear, but you can get this also in the website of the World Health Organization. They give you the circle of the 17 goals, and as you can see, there is 17 goals. And specific for your assignment, you have to look at goal number 3. Goal number 3 is talking about good health and a healthy well-being. So you have to look into this and you have to discuss it. And in your assignment, as you're going to discuss that and you're going to elaborate about that, you have to give me details. And it will be very important if you can make a reference into that. The UNICEF, UNAIDS, UNFPA, many other UN-related organizations came up or readjusted most of the program based on the SDG, and especially Namibia has also adjusted its plan, and the current plan that we have is the Harambee Prosperity Plan. And you can also take the Harambee Prosperity Plan where it addresses health issues and then compare it also to the SDGs, which are very important. So if you are going to do that, it's very important that you have to look at all this aspect. Now, health, it's not just looking at physical health. You can, in your assignment, you can also discuss the different aspects and dimension of health, where you're going to look at the mental health, the physical health, the psychological health. You're going to look at the emotional health. You can bring a whole holistic approach when it comes to health. So I hope that this presentation helped you, and it will serve as a guide for you to prepare and to submit your assignment. And I hope you all the best, and I wish all the best for your assignments, and I hope that you will make reference to your study guide, your manual, and from time to time also listen and look at this presentation. Thank you.